Let's start today with the U.S.-Mexico border. No matter how many times the right-wingers say it, the U.S.-Mexico border is not open under Joe Biden. Now, you might be saying, David, of course it's not open. How could anyone believe that it is open? There are millions of people, based on polling, that believe the border is open under Joe Biden as a result of some change or series of changes that were put in place when Donald Trump left and when Joe Biden became the president of the United States. This is not true, and we're going to look at it right now. And the reason we're going to look at it is it's good to once get everything on the record so that in the future, when this talking point comes up, when the MAGA people call me on the Friday show and they say, but the border is open, that's one of the problems I have with Joe Biden, we can now create a record, a reference point to go through the various elements of this, because this is I would call it relatively common assertion perpetuated by right-wing media, by right-wing politicians, and it is flowing down to just random right-wing voters. The claims are numerous. One of the claims that's often used to say the border is open is you will hear things like, we're catching so many people at the border because Biden opened it. By definition, if we are catching people, if we are stopping people, if we are taking people into custody, by definition, the border is not open. Now, when you want to look at, has policy changed? Have numbers changed? Is there something tangible, maybe with the wall or with border agents, that Joe Biden has changed? You find that very little has actually changed. The Biden administration has increased the capacity of shelters and processing centers at the border to better manage the flow of migrants. But that's not evidence of an open border. It's evidence of being able to more quickly and more efficiently say who is merely crossing illegally and needs to be put into sort of the deportation flow, and who is seeking asylum and needs to be put into that bureaucratic process. Neither of those are evidence that the border is open. In addition to that, there are border security claims. Biden demolished border security. There's no evidence of that. And you can find each aspect of this widely documented by the relevant agencies. Funding requests for Customs and Border Protection under Biden are almost identical to under Trump when it comes to how much money is being requested by the respective administrations for border security in general. Staffing levels, when you say, oh, well, Trump had way more border patrol than Biden, that's absolutely not the case. U.S. Border Patrol staffing levels were slightly higher under Obama, around 21,000 total. Under Trump, they were in the 19,000 range, plus or minus a few hundred border agents. Under Biden, they're in that same 19,000 range, plus or minus a few hundred. So staffing levels, identical. Funding requests, essentially identical. Beyond that, what about policy? What about policy on turning people around or taking asylum requests or whatever the case may be? Border authorities, you may be shocked to hear, under Biden are enforcing immigration laws just like under Trump. Immigrants continue to be expelled, detained, or allowed in based on the same standard as to whether they are passing initial screenings and what exactly their business in the United States is. The Biden administration, although they did stop construction of the wall, a few hundred miles of wall, the Biden administration is repairing all existing border barriers, adding detection technology to make it easier for Border Patrol to identify where do we need to go. I'm not even telling you these things because I like or dislike them. I'm just telling you what the truth is about border policy. It is absolutely the case that Biden hasn't added any new barriers, which I think is the right policy because the wall was quite a silly idea. But Joe Biden is fully funding the repair of existing barriers that were already there. Okay, so you have two groups of people. You have people that are coming to, quote, sneak in as the traditional illegal immigration is sort of characterized. And then you have people coming to seek asylum. And then in addition to that, you do have people who are coming over for work legally or coming over for work illegally, but then going back to Mexico. There's all of these different scenarios. All of those categories are being handled the same way that they were being handled under Donald Trump. You can agree with the policy or disagree with it. You can say we should have some kind of permanent status for so-called dreamers, or we should not. You can say, I like the wall or I don't like the wall. Fine. Everybody is entitled to that opinion. But in order to really talk about this, we have to acknowledge that funding hasn't materially changed from Trump to Biden. Border staffing hasn't materially changed from Trump to Biden. Joe Biden is repairing existing border barriers. Joe Biden is funding new detection technology for areas of the border that are more remote. And as far as policy goes, we have the Title 42 thing, which Trump put in and then Biden's looking at getting rid of, but it's not clear whether it'll be. So there's that. But beyond that, we have evidence of nothing more than another completely fabricated talking point. That's the truth. The border is not open.